invest and assess if the ROI on that service is worth it or not.
We start from the strategy. I will say strategy first. Say like with the Metaverse, it offers a new channel to reach people that maybe you would not reach beforehand, or also to
Let's welcome Joeri Billast to the podcast by EK, all the way coming from Lisbon to Cairo for attending the Marketing Plus conference. Yuri was our great speaker in that event, and it has been an amazing day. So how was your day? Let me ask that first question. How was the conference so far?
Well, it was quite hectic, I would say, because I had a lot, because there was a bit of a delay in the program, but then I had, I gave the keynote, and after that, lots of different people wanted to talk to me or make this self.
Yeah, you're a celebrity. Everyone, no one wants to talk to you.
That was quite heavy. So, but I also like that, connecting with people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I really like that, and I must say that the audience here is really interested too.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of questions, and I haven't seen that a lot, and I go to a lot of different places here in Egypt.
Yeah,
really, people are interested. And engaged.
That's the what they call the Egyptian, the Egyptian vibes. We are so energetic. We are curious to know everything. So yeah, that's the Egyptian people. Anyway, so welcome to the podcast by EK. I'm super happy to have you today, Yuri, to my podcast. And first of all, for those who are watching us, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube and turn on the notifications button to make sure that you receive all of our updates. So I'm so blessed and happy today to have Yuri as my guest in that today's episode. So Yuri is a fractional CMO, and actually he is a podcaster. He is having a podcast that is called Web3 CMO Stories. And also, and this was the most interesting thing, that he is a founder of Sintra Synergies Mastermind Retreats, which was very interesting for me, like his mixing what he's doing for life and his love for nature in order to do something great like that. So I like that so much. Also, Yuri is the founder of Efficado, as well as he happened to have like a lot of authored books that is focusing on entrepreneurship, marketing, and personal development. So an amazing profile, you guys. Stay tuned until the end of this episode. We're going to talk about very interesting stuff about marketing. So welcome.
Thank you. That was a really nice introduction. Thank you.
I told you, like, the last almost 10 days I've been binge listening your podcast, and it's amazing. So my background is technology. I'm an engineer. I'm not a podcaster. I'm not into media at all, but I do this like as a passion. And I came across, and also I'm new to marketing. Like, I don't have any marketing background, but I'm so interested to learn. That's why when they told me to come to that conference, I was like, oh, I love to learn about that. And there are great speakers like yourself and Philip Kotler and like a lot of speakers that are amazing as well. And when I dived into what you were talking about, especially the Web3 technology. So I'm a network engineer, and honestly speaking, Yuri, that was the first time for me to try to understand what's Web3. So let me start. The first question is, and this is what I want my audience to learn about, is the technology. So if you can just tell us what's the difference between the normal Web 2.0 and Web 3.0, and how actually this changed the marketing industry.
Yeah, so for people maybe that are not aware what is Web 2, let's start with Web 1.
Yeah.
Web 1 was the internet when it came, like just, the normal internet that we first saw, reading information on the internet, visiting websites, doing research, and so on. Web 2 is with social media. A lot of people, of course, are using social media. It was not only about reading information on the internet, but also putting information on the internet about yourself and sharing information and so on. Now, the problem in Web 2 is that this data is owned by the big tech companies, and that now they use this data as an asset to send you ads. And actually, you should get paid or get rewarded for sharing your data, but it doesn't happen. You have paid yourself with your data to use this social media. Now, Web3 solves that Web3, you are the owner of your data. And this is how I explain in a nutshell. You can ask some more questions about it, but that's in a nutshell how I explain it to people that ask me.
Awesome. So if I can rephrase it in from my understanding is that it's instead of like data was exclusively previously owned by these social media providers like Facebook, we can say also Netflix, LinkedIn. Now data is not exclusively owned by these providers for social media, and we can track who is contributing to that piece of data in order to get rewarded or paid in return for it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. So I would say today we are more like in Web 2.5. So social media will not go away and Web 2 will not go away, and it's useful and people understand Web 2. But in Web 3, indeed, the data is decentralized, so it's not.
Blockchains, when we say decentralized,
the
blockchain concept comes in, which is the hype word. Like, first of all, Yori, when I was reading about blockchain, like I don't know, like maybe years or not years, maybe a year and a half or so, when I first started to understand blockchain, I was like, oh my god, this is a very complicated concept. But for the audience to understand, basically, blockchains is decentralization of the servers where you host your data, to be able to track better who's sharing with which piece of information and specifically. So we can make better use of the users versus the data and not to have like an exclusive ownership for data. So this is the concept of blockchain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, or in simple words, it's a chain of blocks.
Chain of blocks, exactly.
Yeah, and actually, everyone can see what it is on a blockchain. It's transparent. It's also immutable. Once you put it on a blockchain, it cannot be altered. And as you said, it is decentralized. So it's not owned by anyone. It's just decentralized. It's a bit like everywhere. Yeah?
100%. Okay, so let's jump like steps backward and think of the concept of like marketing or traditional marketing. And when I told you I didn't have any like background on marketing, but I was trying to educate myself. And when I educate myself, I try to approach things in its simplest form. And this is what we try to communicate to our audience today. So marketing basically is I have a product or I have a service, and I want to make sure that I can share the features and specs of these products to the right customers that are having these actual demands. So this is actually what marketing is doing this functionality. I have a product and service, and I keep on talking about it to the relevant customers so they know about it, so therefore they can get or buy these products. This is the traditional, very basic concept of marketing. But when I ask you a question now is, since this conference theme is embracing change and embracing the direction of how we are doing marketing, leveraging new technologies, from your perspective, Yuri, how do you think the new technologies like the Metaverse, and I attended your speech, by the way, it was amazing, like talking about Metaverse, AI, Web3, how all of these are going to help the marketeers to plan for like differently other than the traditional marketing methodology, how the modern marketing will change?
Yeah. So first, to answer your question, how you define marketing is a really good definition, and it's still like that. It doesn't go away with Web3. So that if it's still important, to get with know your customer, get with the right messages to them, make sure that they know you. But I would say, like with the Metaverse, it offers a new channel to reach people that maybe you would not reach beforehand, or also to introduce your products or your services in another way. AI helps you to create content on a more personalized level, I would say. It also helps you to better understand your data, to better understand your customer, because if you have a lot of data, AI can make sense of it, see patterns that you would not see yourself. And with Web3, you have another way of being in touch with your customers, because customers that are aware of Web3, they have a wallet. So as I said, they can decide themselves if they want to share information. So if they go on a website, and as you know, now we are like, the cookies don't work anymore as before.
Yeah.
And But if people connect with their wallet to a website, they say, hey, to this website, I connect with you. Here I am. I'm Yuri with this wallet. Either they don't know who I am, they know that I'm a wallet address, so it's anonymous, but still, I give them information and they can, have data about it and be in touch with me. I also mentioned during, I think it was during my keynote, or was it on another podcast, about NFTs. If you have NFTs in your wallet and you want to share them, then people can say, okay, this person has this NFT, so he is interested in marketing conferences, for instance.
It helps gatherers more data about that person.
Yeah, and that the person chooses to share.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so I see one of the challenges, since you talked about AI, and honestly speaking, I've been trying to educate myself before coming to have an interview with you today about AI in marketing in specific. And I put myself in the customer's shoe, or the person who's trying to do his marketing campaign leveraging AI. I found like there are a lot of AI models, a lot, like, reinforcement model, clustering, whatever, a lot of models. And I was like, oh my God, if I'm a marketeer and I'm new to this, it's super, super, super overwhelming. So how do you see, from your experience in real life, how do this work? Is it only the marketeers, or with the help of engineering? How this happens in real world?
So on the marketing side, I would say if you do research about it, there are a lot of models, but there are also a lot of tools that are making life easy for you as a marketer. If you want to create like content, if you want to create repurposing your podcast, for instance, if you want to analyze your audience, if you want to create an avatar and making it speak, if you want to, I don't know, of course with ChatGPT, of course you can do a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
It's I know there is so much, and it's also evolving every day. I was almost going to say it in French before the podcast started talking in French, but it's evolving so much that I would say just do research, look at what are other people using, and then try it. That's how I'm doing it.
Yeah,
and I'm
you would say by trying, and this is like experience. You need to be experienced in order to know exactly what model will work for you.
Right. Yeah. And it can evolve also, of course, because it's possible that at a certain moment it works for you and then it doesn't anymore. And also I've seen that tools are sometimes becoming the victim of their success, because if they have too many people active on the platform, that the tool does not respond anymore like it should.
I understand. Okay. So we talked about the what, and what's the technology, what's marketing, and so on. So now let's move to the how. So if I'm a business owner, either I'm having like a big or a small business, what's your advice, or given your experience, how can we start adopting new technologies into the marketing strategies? I heard and I learned that there are many aspects, like there is the data, there is the algorithm, there is the network, and the tools. So, a lot of things. And also there is the blockchain and there's the metaverse. Like, we keep on just throwing words and buzzwords actually, and they get so overwhelmed that they don't understand. Like the marketeers that trying to go to modern marketing strategy, they get very overwhelmed. So how is the start, Joeri? From where we can start?
We start from the strategy. I always say strategy first. So first, you don't need to use a tool because you think you need to use a tool in AI. You don't need to go on social media because you think you need to be on social media. But what is your goal as a marketer, as your business? And how can you reach the goal? And then you can see, okay, these are the steps we should do. Where can AI help us? Where can AI make us more productive or give us a better result?
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. It sounds very straightforward. It's just we need to get started and learn.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate it because people get overwhelmed because of all the information.
I'm always with that theory, Yuri, is don't, however it looks or how much it looks very complicated from outside, just put your hands in it and step by step, and you're going to untangle all of these like wires of complexity to reach to your proper solution. So it's not really that hard.
Absolutely, and I would say a lot of people build half-built bridges,
Yeah.
finish a bridge.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So now let's move to the why. So we keep on saying, hey, we have new technologies, there are new strategies. But let me ask you that question. What's the ROI? What's the return on investment if actually business owners starting to adopt modern strategies for marketing?
Yeah, I would say what happens if they don't do it. So then, like I said on my presentation, I said don't miss the wave. And the
Okay.
wave is coming probably slowly, but it is coming. Remember, I don't know if you remember the times, but when there is something new coming, like
Yeah.
internet or social
Yeah.
media or Facebook or Google
There
Ads,
is resistance.
there's always resistance,
Yeah.
but those that are the first to try.
Are
and
the
to test,
pioneers.
and they get the value. Well, it's harder because you are early,
100%.
but you learn from that, and
Yeah.
you get, and that's also for marketers. So I just don't be too hesitant and try it and see how it could make sense, and
Yeah.
you will learn from that experience.
Yeah.
To get better and to get more results. And but yeah, I understand that for some people it's there are always like people that are early adopters and that are late in the game.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, from like not only from the benefits of being the pioneers in the technology or changing your strategy to the modern marketing strategies. I mean also the money.
Yeah.
How can we monetize? And that's the important thing for any business. The first thing they ask you, how can we monetize?
Yeah, you can monetize on different levels. So you can, if you make your the way you work more efficient, then you will gain on productivity gains. You will spend less money, or you can use your budget more wisely. You know, if you have people in your team that are doing a lot of manual work, which AI could do, then you could let AI doing it and asking those people to do more, I would say, advanced stuff. Just not being replacing those people by AI, but just, you know, organizing your team in a smarter way, which helps you get more results, which will benefit your ROI because you will be more efficient.
100%.
But also, I would say, because you use AI, it's like having extra people in your team that come with advice and instantly and give ideas also to come up with better marketing campaigns. It already does some heavy lifting for you, and then you, again, win time. So it gives you productivity, but also in terms of personalization or how to apply certain or come up with certain marketing campaigns, it can really be helpful. And so also for your ROI.
Actually, can we lean 100% on AI to create for us a marketing campaign?
You could try it, but I wouldn't do it because, of course, let me just say this. If you really work together with AI, you give it the input that it needs. So really specialized input about your avatar, about your products, about your business and so on. It can come up with a good campaign that you then can, maybe it can be ready. But if you don't do that, if you don't put the effort in it, it will not be, it will just be a standard campaign. That
Not customized, which
Right.
Eventually will
Right.
fail the,
Exactly.
the campaign expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. The thing that I'm thinking about, Yuri, and actually I heard that on your one of your podcasts, is saying that when you want someone to adopt the technology, as we were saying, don't complicate things. Don't tell them, okay, I'm selling you a browsing service, for example, to do like a very customized shopping experience that is leveraging like blockchains and AI. So as a user, you really don't care to know if like what are the protocols used. I'm using TCP/IP to connect to the internet, and this is literally what have been said on your podcast. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. I care about the value. Tell me the value, and then I will see if I can really invest and assess if the ROI on that service is worth it or not. So if I was a business owner and someone is coming to me and say, hey, adopt AI in your marketing strategy, I will ask what's the use case. So speaking of use cases, I really love to have things tangible, especially for people who listen to us and trying to learn about marketing and marketing strategy. I would love to have a tangible example in any domain, Yuri, where they used whatever collection of the new technologies to launch a successful campaign. If you have any on your mind. By the way, we didn't prepare that before the interview, so everything is.
I
is
thought
live.
you were, when you were talking about the example, I thought you were speaking about my ring. But
I saw that on the presentation. Yeah.
So this is not, actually it's also a campaign, of course, but it's about a product, which is a ring. It's a ring that measures my health.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's not a marriage ring.
No, it's not a
Marriage ring.
No.
First of all, before you talked on stage, I thought it's like the normal, but yeah.
No. This is just a ring. It's not just a ring, but if you see there are like sensors in there.
Yeah.
And it measures my health. I just got it just before I flew to Egypt.
Wow.
Because
Nice.
they see me as a kind of influencer, so they send it to me.
Ah.
Oh, you're going to? Can you? I say, yeah, I will wear it. It's a good example. It's really tangible, and the data is stored on the blockchain, and I get an AI coach. And the AI coach actually gives me advice.
AI coach, virtual coach.
Yeah, virtual coach, but AI he has a name or she has a name.
I love how they're personalizing AI. Like we have like, hey Siri, so we know she is a she.
Yeah.
We have Alexa.
Yeah.
There is no man.
Yeah. You can
AI.
choose a man or a woman. You can choose.
Yeah.
And actually, So and also because of the story around that.
Yeah.
Of course, their marketing campaign is also based around that.
100%.
And so because you can look at different audiences, you say people shouldn't care about if it's blockchain or not. But if you want to launch a product like this, if you are targeting an audience that understands blockchain and understands what is already possible with AI, they will be really interested. If they are also interested in health, that's really good.
100%.
And then you get this.
So the application got an avatar connect to your ring.
So the application, I have an application on my iPhone, which is a mobile app there, and it connects to the ring, and the ring also connects then to my Apple Watch.
It's an ecosystem.
Yeah. So it's not made by Apple, but it's a new company. It's a startup, and they are now launching it. And they contacted me, and I liked the idea. So, like I said in the beginning, like you said, I'm also into health, and then if you can combine health, nature with technology.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful example. Really nice example. Yeah, 100%. All right. So moving to the next point. Yuri, you have been a great author for many books. I've been trying to skim through them and trying to get the best benefit of them since I knew that I'm gonna meet you. And I liked that book they called the 5K challenges for solopreneurs, and I loved how you chose that, like solopreneurs, not entrepreneurs, because you're really most likely solo in that trip. It's really hard, and in that book you were aspiring to influence people how to monetize without ads on social media, which is a big thing. And myself as a podcaster, I'm struggling big time on it because, social media are squeezing you for a lot of money in order to gain more followers, gain more views, and so on. And sometimes it works and sometimes not. So if you can give us and to the audience who are listening to that podcast, what's the tactics that they can follow in order to achieve this very hard equation?
Yeah, let's start by the mistakes that many of solopreneurs make. That is like they want to be everything for everyone. So they like a photographer that says, I can make nature, I can make portraits, I can make buildings, I can do your marriage. Like they do everything. Then they are just like a photographer, like maybe not a solopreneur, but a freelancer. Yeah. But if you really want to be entrepreneurial and like to make, then choose a niche, choose then based on the niche, choose your avatar, meaning who is the customer that you are really helping solve problems. What is something that you can do that others cannot, and study your competition.
What you're saying is strategy.
Yeah, because it starts with a strategy, of course.
Yeah. I told you, I'm not a marketeer. So when I talk to random people at the conference today, you know what everyone was starting to... The first thing they start to tell me when you want to do anything is, what's your strategy? So in marketing, everything is, as a first step, do your strategy. And this is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, but also don't, go too detailed in the strategy because you want to start too. So that's also what the book is about.
Don't overwhelm yourself. That's really good advice.
Because some people get stuck in the strategy, and at a certain moment you just need to start.
Yeah.
And then see what comes from feedback, because you will have to change your strategy based on the feedback, because you can have an ideal plan and it never works out as you think, and then you need to change. But it's good to know where you're heading. So I say in marketing, there are always 3 pillars that are important for me. So you need to have a strategy first. You need to have the right tools and tactics to implement the strategy. And then you need also to measure what you are doing, because if you're doing something and you don't know if it's working or not, if you're active on social media, but does it work? Doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? What did work? And can we do more of it? So measure that too. And when it comes to solopreneurs, it's important to be also consistent and go step by step towards your goal. The premise of the book is 5K challenge, make your first 5K. It's also just to make people action, because it's not so difficult once you just go for it. So yeah.
You mentioned in your second point the right tools to measure if your strategy is working or not. Can you elaborate more, like what kind of tools we can be using?
So yeah, the tools and tactics, it's about implementing, creating content, also measuring, also productivity planning. So different tools are important, and with tools and tactics, so I think of templates that I'm using. I'm using a framework when defining avatars, when defining, the customer value.
Yeah.
So that this is for me already a tool, but also how will I approach? Am I using a social media platform like Instagram, or am I using a third-party tool to be there? Because
each platform got its own maneuvering ways, I would say.
It is.
You learned that the hard way.
It is, it's not. Yeah. So you need to, It's good to be omnipresent, but just don't be omnipresent for the sake of being omnipresent, because every platform has its specifics.
100%. YouTube is totally different than Instagram, than TikTok.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Great books. And I encourage everyone who's listening to the podcast to go and check, especially the 5K challenges for solopreneurs. It's really an inspiring book. So final advice in the podcast, Yuri, is now we are from that conference, we are saying embrace change, embrace modern marketing strategies. My final question for you is, how do you see this will change the future of marketing, knowing all or learning about all of these different technologies, and how to embrace that change?
Yeah, a lot. The world is changing all the time. So it will change. Marketing will not change the marketing fundamentals. So that will always, like I said, being important.
Marketing is marketing.
Marketing is marketing. Marketing is not sales. Marketing will stay marketing, you gave the definition. But it will help us to be, because everyone is going to use these tools. So
100%.
So you need to be able to stand out, and in a way that you know how to use, for instance, AI, because everyone is going to use AI. Like today, the number of posts or messages or, what you find on the internet is written by AI, it's enormous, and it will only get worse. So you need now to find a way to use it for your benefit. So AI will be there, it will become more there.
So start first by educating yourself on AI.
AI and testing and also at your personal, I would say, aspects to it always. Then Web3, it's like I showed you during the presentation, it is coming up more and more and more.
100%.
And it is related also to crypto, even if it should not be related to marketing, it is related because it makes that there is more investments into Web3 and so on. So keep an eye on Web3, that you understand that. And then, Metaverse, there will also be maybe not the word Metaverse, but virtual I would say, or immersive experiences, they are going to come. You see all the big techs companies are also working on it, so it will come.
Some Zoom meetings already are changed by the Metaverse to get us that feeling that we are together, but we are not together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. One thing I want to also to ask you, Yuri, I was super excited when my mind trying to understand this world. You know, I told you I'm coming from engineering background, and this world is different. It's very different to me. So when we say that, you know, one of the capabilities that Web3 is going to provide is the cryptocurrency world, meaning that, and I heard that on one of your podcasts, is that we now can make transactions leveraging Bitcoins because of the Web3, if I'm not mistaken, right? And this will change the world. So can you mention why, as a user / business owner / marketeer, I would prefer to do my transactions for ads or whatever using cryptocurrencies and not using the normal transaction banking that we're used to currently?
Yeah, so one of the benefits is that there are people in the world that don't have a bank already, you know, that are bankless, or that that doesn't, and you know, they are not excluded, because with crypto they are included. So and also the costs are lower. The speed is much faster to do transactions with crypto. Yeah. There is a concept what I call stablecoin. If you buy stablecoin, it's, and for instance in the US dollar as USDT, USDC, it follows. Yeah. It has the same value as a dollar, but it's a crypto coin. So we have the advantages of the crypto world, but you still feel secure because, you know, the value stays stable. Yeah, 100%. I can't wait when I actually like become one of the users of the Bitcoins, and I see this like something very normal. So yeah. All right, I think we reached the end of the podcast. It has been amazing. I was super happy, Yori, to have you today on the podcast by EK, and to have you here in Egypt, all the way from Lisbon, and to have this podcast sponsored by Nexus and Guru Connect. So it has been an amazing day. It has been an amazing happy ending for the day to have this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.